watching Bloomberg WEST, where we focus on innovation, technology, and the future of business. I'm Emily Chang. The Federal Communications Commission is holding the biggest wireless spectrum auction in history. While the FCC had expected around $11 billion in bids for 1,600 licenses, bids from telecom companies have now surpassed $34 billion. And the auction continues. Joining me with more on the battle for the airwaves, Mobile Future Chair Jonathan Spalter. So why are these particular airwaves so desirable?
Well, we know that the mobile future is, in fact, a very, very exciting future. We've seen year over year 81% growth in mobile data usage in our country. It's not a hockey stick growth. It's a golf putter growth that we're actually beginning to see. And the airwaves that are now up for auction offer incredible propagation opportunities, particularly for high-dense areas in our country, making them extremely valuable for carriers, for innovators to begin to really think about deploying more spectrum for consumers.
And these particular airwaves are good at transmitting data, but not good at penetrating buildings. Am I correct about that?
Well, there are different types of bands and different types of spectrum. The spectrum that's actually under auction at the moment, Advanced Wireless Spectrum 3, has incredible characteristics to actually be able to offer increased capacity for urban areas, for high-dense population. It also has propagation characteristics that allow it to be spread over much broader areas. The lower the frequencies, the higher the opportunities there are for better urban penetration. This is very, very valuable spectrum, and the marketplace is showing it in incredibly exciting ways.
So where did all the spectrum come from, and how does it compare to what's already out there and in use?
Sure. What's really exciting about this spectrum auction that we're experiencing right now is that of the 65 megahertz that are going to be put into consumers' hands soon for powering not only our mobile phones and but also for our hospitals and schools, public safety networks, is that the 40 megahertz of the 65 megahertz are actually coming from the United States government. It's a huge tribute to the Commerce Department, to the FCC, to the White House, and to Congress to envision for the first time the government is saying, okay, we have a lot of spectrum, we're going to actually repurpose it and make it useful for consumers, and a lot of that's coming from the Defense Department and also from the Commerce Department's NOAA office.
Could this new spectrum dramatically change the hierarchy as it is right now in the carrier wars? I mean, AT&T and Verizon at the top, T-Mobile and Sprint distant third and fourth.
Well, you know, what's exciting as well about this auction is that it has 70 qualified bidders. We don't know exactly who's bidding for what and in what amounts.
But we can assume.
We can assume that there are large incumbents, but there also are a number of smaller regional players. There are foreign bidders that are involved in this auction. There's a huge mosaic of interests that are at the table trying to figure out how they can use the parts of the 65 megahertz of spectrum. But what's important, though, is that this is just the beginning. The FCC has been working again with Congress, with broadcasters, with industry, to even make more spectrum available in future auctions. And the fact that this has actually blown right through a $10 billion, $11 billion reserve price to get north of $34 billion, I think is a great signal that the future of our next spectrum auctions can be potentially very bright indeed.
How likely is it, though, that the current hierarchy that we see among the telecom carriers in the United States will actually change as a result of this?
You know, one of the exciting things about the mobile sector right now is the intense competition that we're seeing.
Right.
We've got Sprint and T-Mobile really advancing significantly in building their marketplace, building their consumer base with innovative products, innovative service plans. The nature of the mobile and wireless industry is that it's in flux, it's innovating, and the competition is accelerating across the spectrum of companies that we're watching. Where that's going to go next as a result of this auction and future auctions really is going to depend on the will and on the constancy and commitment of all of the companies involved.
Now, so you're saying things could change?
Oh, absolutely, they could change.
You spend a lot of time going back and forth between here and Washington, talking to the FCC. What's your position on net neutrality?
You know, I believe that there are a number of great ways to get to the goal that we all share, which are open internet net neutrality. Amongst those goals are, not only rules that were set only 4 years ago and endorsed by the administration that allow for flexibility, for restraint in the way that we're regulating our wireless world, but there are other parts of existing laws that could potentially be wonderful frameworks for moving forward. I don't think that the plan that the president has offered, which is taking this beautiful, innovative experiment that we're still in, the internet, and making it applicable to public utilities laws that were advanced 80 years ago. There are many ways to get to net neutrality. I don't think the president's plan is the best way, and I really hope that the FCC, under its chairman, Tom Wheeler, will be able to maintain their independence and also a vision of making sure that our internet can continue to innovate and attract the kind of investment that it needs to become a truly open internet.
How likely is it that the FCC is really going to go against what the president has asked?
You know, there's great precedent of FCC chairs taking advice from the White House, taking advice from the president, incorporating some of the advice, but going in independent and different directions. Tom Wheeler now has an opportunity to do the same. And I hope that there will be both a reasonable and progressive approach to incorporating the best, the most flexible, the most innovative approaches to ensuring open internet for all Americans, all consumers, rather than resigning our wonderful internet to the status of just another public utility.
All right. Well, either way, we're not going to know until 2015,
right.
Unfortunately. Jonathan Spalter, Mobile Future Chair, thanks so much for weighing in, and great to hear your thoughts today.
Thank you very much.
Well, Twitter co-founder Biz Stone left the company to become a venture capitalist and CEO of his own company. We'll speak to him about his next big thing when